I knew returning to my rural property after months away would bring peace, but I didn't expect to be greeted by an official-looking envelope slapped onto my gate with aggressive tape. The wind fluttered the corner of it, as if trying to warn me. The bold letters across the top read, HOA Notice of Violation. But what violation? I had just arrived. I stood there, suitcase still in hand, staring at the signature at the bottom, Karen. I didn't know her yet, but that name alone would become the biggest headache of my life. Before I even managed to pull my truck through the gate, a silver SUV screeched to a halt beside me. Out stepped a woman with a stiff bob haircut, neon reflective vest, and a clipboard so thick it could kill a snake. She walked with the confidence of a sheriff, but had the smile of someone who'd never been told no in her life. Without a greeting, without a pause, she barked, "Are you planning construction on this property?" I blinked. I just got here. She didn't care. She snapped pictures of my driveway, my mailbox, even my boots, muttering something about non-compliant access routes. I hadn't even opened the door to my house, and already my blood pressure was skyrocketing. As she marched away with the grace of an angry rooster, I knew one thing. Whatever fight was coming, it wasn't going to be small. Over the next few days, I settled in and quickly remembered the biggest problem in this area, the creek. It ran alongside our road, and every year, seasonal rains flooded it so badly that crossing to get home became a gamble. The ground turned to mush, the rocks shifted, and the water rushed like a trapped animal. Last year, my neighbor's truck got stuck in the mud and nearly washed downstream. And what had the HOA done? Nothing. Not even a warning sign. The creek was dangerous, and everyone knew it. But the HOA always responded the same way. Budget constraints. Not our jurisdiction. Please follow official procedures for complaints. Meanwhile, people were slipping, cars were getting damaged, and kids couldn't safely walk across the area. I asked around, and every neighbor gave the same exhausted shrug. The HOA doesn't care unless it benefits them. Well, that wasn't going to work for me. I decided I wasn't waiting for a group of clipboard warriors to save the day. I planned to build a simple wooden bridge, sturdy, safe, reliable. Not fancy. Just safe enough for pedestrians and vehicles during heavy rains. The next morning, I loaded my truck with timber, beams, and tools, ready to start. I placed the first piece of lumber near the creek, and immediately heard tires crunching on gravel.
Karen.
She stepped out like she was emerging from a courtroom she had personally conquered. "What do you think you're doing?" she asked, eyes widening dramatically as if I were building a nuclear reactor. "Fixing the path the HOA refuses to fix," I replied calmly. Her jaw dropped. She pointed her clipboard at me like a weapon. "That is unauthorized construction. Against HOA Policy Section 17, Article 4, Subsection 6. She said it like a spell that should have turned me to dust. I shrugged. "It's my property line, and the path is dangerous." She stormed off, but not quietly. She called 2 board members, snapped more photos, and within an hour, my phone buzzed with 3 new violation notices. One accused me of disturbing natural landscapes. Another claimed I was introducing independent structural elements. The third, my personal favorite, said I was engaging in unilateral infrastructure development. Which technically was true, but for good reason. Despite the warnings, I kept building. And every day, Karen appeared like a horror movie villain who respawned after every hammer strike. She'd stand across the creek, arms crossed, judging me from the safety of dry ground. One afternoon, she arrived with backup, 2 HOA board members wearing matching polos like they were part of a team-building exercise. "We're issuing a stop work order," one of them announced proudly. I smiled. "You can issue whatever you want. I'm building a safe crossing." Karen's face turned bright red. "This will not stand," she shouted. But I wasn't stopping. And when the first rainstorm hit, everything became clear. The water rose, the ground softened, and the old path disappeared under knee-deep muddy water. But the half-finished bridge? Solid. Secure. Neighbors started approaching me. "Thank you for doing this." Finally, someone stepped up. "Why wouldn't the HOA fix this?" For the first time since I arrived, I didn't feel alone. Even unfinished, the bridge had already helped people cross safely. And every compliment made Karen more furious. She would drive past slowly, glaring like she was memorizing the exact moment she would plot her revenge. A week later, I finished the bridge. It wasn't glamorous, but it was strong, reinforced wood, steel supports, and railings. Families crossed it. Kids ran across it. People carried groceries safely. It was everything the HOA should have done years ago. Karen appeared again, this time with county inspectors. "Shut it down," she commanded, pointing dramatically at the bridge. The inspectors walked the length of it, tested the rails, checked the supports, nodded to one another, and then asked me for paperwork. I handed them a folder. Every permit, every code compliance, every environmental approval, all stamped and legal. Karen's face twisted like she'd bitten into a lemon filled with rage. One inspector said, "Actually, this is perfectly legal and safer than the original crossing." Another added, "Good job on the construction. This area needed it." Karen looked betrayed by the entire universe. She sputtered, but it's against HOA rules." The inspector shrugged. "HOA rules don't override county-approved private improvements." I almost felt bad for her. Almost. The next week, HOA members started using my bridge for official business, inspection rounds, board meetings, rule enforcement patrols. And suddenly I got an idea. A beautifully petty, completely legal idea. I filed a notice with the HOA. Access fee for crossing private bridge. You cross, you pay. Simple. It wasn't a toll for neighbors. I made it clear. Only HOA officials, vehicles, and business were subject to the fee. If they wanted to use the infrastructure I paid for, built, permitted, and maintained, then they could contribute. Karen lost her mind. "You can't charge the HOA," she screamed on the phone. I calmly replied, "According to county property law, I can charge for any official organization using private infrastructure crossing private land." Silence. Delicious silence. The HOA fought it for a month, but every time they needed to check something, inspect something, or deliver notices, they had to cross the bridge. And every crossing added to their bill. Eventually, they had no choice. They paid. The best part? Neighbors discovered where the HOA money was going. I invested every dollar into community improvements, road gravel, cleanup equipment, flood warning signs. People loved it. And they hated how Karen wasted thousands just trying to defeat one man with a toolbox. Then came the final twist. The HOA held elections. And Karen voted out. By a landslide. Her power evaporated. Her clipboard retired. And the valley became peaceful again. Sometimes, justice doesn't come with police or lawyers. Sometimes, it comes with a tape measure, a hammer, and a bridge the HOA never wanted but will forever pay for.